Let's talk about your time at Fulham, because when you signed for Fulham, there was interest from Bayern Munich and Juventus. So what were you thinking?
Yeah, a lot of people ask me that same question. What was I doing? You know, why was I signing for Fulham? Was it a sideward step? Was it a backward step leaving Middlesbrough? I knew Mike Kelly, who was assistant manager there and the goalkeeping coach. So that was a big reason. Also, he told me the story about what they wanted to do and how they wanted to change the club. Bayern Munich. I spoke to Jurgen Klinsmann, who was the manager at the time, and he said to me, "You'd be number two, and guaranteed to be number two. And the only reason you'd play is if the guy they've got in there, Michael Rensing, a young guy." Had a bit of a nightmare after 3 months, then you may get a run. And then with Buffon at Juventus, you know that you're only ever going to play if he's injured. I still had aspirations to play for Australia. The World Cup was in 2010, so for me it was just another great challenge to go to a club like Fulham and be part of something that maybe potentially would be quite exciting and big.
And of course, you had the MJ statue there, and Berbatov and Al Fayed was the chairman. What was he like as chairman?
He was a real character, and he was really hands-on. You know, you could tell that he really had a passion for the club, and you know, the club were where they were because of him and because of his input in the club. One particular story is that he used to come to the training ground, not all the time, but if things weren't going so well, he'd turn up at the training ground. You'd try to kind of find out last minute, and this is when Mark Hughes was in charge, and we were going through a really tough period of time, and he stood in front of all the players, and he sort of told Mark Hughes to come next to him or stand out in front of everyone, and Mark Hughes sort of kind of shuffled across a little bit, and he wasn't happy, so he manhandled him and put him in front of everyone. He went, "Right," and he says, "Is he the problem? Do I need to get rid of this manager?" In front of everyone. And we're all just going, "Oh, what do we say? What do we say?" And Danny Murphy was always the one that spoke up, and he went, "Yeah, Mr. Chairman, come on, it's not just him, it's all of us." And he went, "Yeah, and you haven't been playing well either, you've been rubbish." You know, that sort of thing, and that's what he was like. So he wanted to talk to you and engage with you. The minute you opened your mouth, he would hammer you and say you weren't doing well. But he was really good. He was a really good character, and he was a really good chairman.
You got to the final of the Europa League. You'd done it with Middlesbrough and got beaten by Sevilla. You got to the final again. On the way, you'd beaten Juventus. And they'd beaten you, 3-1 in the away leg. They had like Cannavaro, Trezeguet, you know, they're an amazing, Del Piero, amazing players. You won that second leg 4-1.
Yeah, it was a season again where, you know, particularly in Europe, at home, where you just felt that you could win any game. And the first leg away, we were poor, and we could have lost the game by more, but we got away with 3-1 really. And I say we got away, we were a bit lucky. We scored a bit of a deflected goal as well, so that gave us a glimmer of hope. And then we were down 1-0 after about 10 minutes at home, and the stadium just went all quiet. And then I think the shackles came off. I think the pressure sort of eluded us then, and everyone just thought, you know what, we've got nothing to lose, let's go for it. And once we got that first goal, the stadium just came to life. And it was kind of like one of those things you just felt like this is going to happen. And then we were a bit lucky, got a sending off. And then Clint Dempsey scores this incredible goal to make it 4-1 and send us through.
Then the final against Atletico. Unfortunately, 5 minutes left of injury time, you conceded the winning goal. How tough was that to take?
It was very tough because, you know, you get to a final, you want to win. And I remember in the semi-final, actually in the group stage, second last group stage game, we lost away to Roma, and Roy Hodgson came in and he was upset, and he goes, "Who cares about this competition anyway? I've lost in a final before. No one wants to be in a final, lose a final anyway. Who cares?" Because we had to win away at Basel, which was a really tough order to do to get through. Anyway, so my speech before the semi-final was actually, you know what? I want to get to another final. I've been to a final and lost it. And I sort of looked at the gaffer, and he was kind of smirking and, you know, moving his head back and forth. And everyone sort of like looked around, and I said, "But, you know, who cares? I want to get to another final. It's an incredible experience." So I have no regrets about it at all. Disappointment that we lost it, but you look back at it, and particularly where the club is now, and you think it was just an amazing adventure, an amazing journey, and something that, you know, the fans will never ever forget.
Arsene Wenger tried to sign you when you were at Fulham. Would you have gone?
Yeah, I would have definitely. And Roy Hodgson rang me. It was about 3 days before the World Cup began in South Africa, and he got on the phone. He said to me, "Mark, the Arsenal have been on the phone. They're interested. Do you want to go?" And I went, "Well, Gaffer," you know. I said, "Listen, I've loved my time at Fulham. It's been brilliant and really great working under you. But yeah, you know, it's an opportunity to play Champions League football, be part of, you know, an unbelievable club." He said, "Right, okay, we'll sort it out. We'll get another goalkeeper in, and as long as we get enough money for you, you can go, no problems, we'll make it happen." So I was delighted, and unfortunately about 3 weeks later he left. He resigned and went to Liverpool. So it wasn't until 2 weeks before the start of the season that Mark Hughes was appointed, and my very first conversation with Mark Hughes was knocking on his door saying, "Gaffer, nice to meet you. As you know, Arsenal made an offer for me, I want to leave. could you please sell me? And that's how it kind of went. And it dragged on, and unfortunately it didn't eventuate.
Could have called Roy and said, I'll come to Liverpool.
Yeah, no, I mean, he had Pepe Reina there, and there was different reasons for it. But it was just one of those things, and you're disappointed it didn't happen, of course. But I have no regrets about staying at Fulham afterwards, because it's an amazing club.
Dimitar Berbatov was there. Unbelievable talent. I mean, I paid to watch him control a goal kick. What was he like?
You're right, incredible talent. The guy, there's no disputing what he could do with a football. As a personality, he was a difficult character. I remember Martin Yole, we had many conversations, myself, Danny Murphy, Brett Hageland, regarding Berbatov and about his contribution to the team, other than, okay, he scored goals, but he didn't do it all the time. And the manager was very protective of him, said he's a very special person, and he's someone that needs to be handled in a different way, and basically you couldn't say anything about him, and he said basically just give the ball to Berbatov. You'd walk into a room and Berbatov would be sitting there and he just wouldn't acknowledge you. And even if you said morning, unless you actually went to him and said, Berbatov, morning mate, morning, he'd just look up at you and sort of grunt at you. So he wasn't one really for team bonding, so to speak, let's put it that way.
Oh, that makes me sad.
Oh, well, that's
Yeah.
okay. Don't worry about it.
Well, back to your spells at Chelsea